Here's a new concept now in crime fighting. Police in New York State debut technology to help them catch criminal suspects, especially burglars, robbers, and thieves. The New York State Sheriff's Association unveiling their crime suppression initiative, which uses forensic marking technology in a spray to help catch people who commit crimes. They say this new technology can directly link a suspect to a crime scene, including the date and the time. And they say it can also help exonerate people who are wrongly accused of crimes. All right, here now to discuss this technology is Chief Deputy Lee Borman. He's from the Albany County Sheriff's Department. Chief Deputy, we appreciate you being here with us today. Also, CSI Protect Executive Vice President Joe Maltese. Thank you, Joe, for being with us. And, of course, our regular contributor, WGY Radio News anchor, Diane Donato. This is fascinating technology to see how this is working. And I know that it's new to New York State. So right off the top here, just give us a brief explanation of how this works. I understand initially it's a spray, and then later on a device would be able to pick up and identify someone through this DNA-type structure.
Correct. It's a synthetic forensic marker. For example, we launched in the Capital Region area at Truman Jewelers, which was installed by Shepherd Communication and Security. However, we have a suite of applications that utilize forensic marking technology. And the one that's being used is actually activated by various modalities. Burglar alarm, could be sensor-driven, panic button, money clip activation, remote video monitoring.
So that sprays something on me. If I'm the burglar or the robber, that sprays something on me. And then what happens? How do you catch me or determine that I'm the bad guy?
Well, actually, it works in regards to it's a fine mist that's emitted. And our #1 goal is prevention. Anywhere we've had this technology deployed, it's been a 40 to 86% reduction in robbery, burglary, and theft. For example, a case, if someone came into Truman Jewelers in downtown Albany, it could be activated if they came at night. The system's programmed, highly programmable to know when to go off. We don't give away a lot of the details because we don't want criminals to attack the system. But when they come into a store, the burglar alarm goes off, and it speaks to our system and communicates and tells it to go off in certain locations. It could be in the wall, the ceiling, attics, above a cash register, based on each unique situation for a store.
It's interesting that you say that, because I was wondering if it was just at the doorway. You talk about it being mainly a deterrent. So is there signage up in the businesses that already have this that would let people know, look, you're taking a chance? Is that a big part of the deterrent, is letting people know that this exists?
Well, we cross-pollinate our communication. We want to educate the general public. We also want to educate the criminal elements in society. What we talk with probation officers, parole officers, Albany County Sheriff's Office will be educating the criminals about this new technology in the Capital Region. So our goal is when they see the signage that they know, aha, we better move up somewhere else. We want to disrupt their behavior, their patterns, and go elsewhere.
I guess what I'm still not clear on is how this works. How does the sheriff's departments get involved? Chief Deputy, there's a flashlight type device that I've seen. The spray gets on my skin or on my clothing. Then how do your men and women identify that I might be the bad guy?
Right, so our first step is we're going to train all the investigators in our criminal investigation unit how to utilize this equipment. So a scenario would be a burglary, a robbery at Truman's Jewelry store happens. The suspect leaves the store, gets in a car, maybe drives through one of the town's villages, crosses over the bridge, ends up in Troy, crashes his car. So we know that Truman Jewelers, as a customer, that they have this CSI product. We'll respond to assist that agency. The burglary or robbery happened in Albany. It's their case, it's their call, but we will just go and assist them. So when we get on the scene, we have a special ultraviolet light that will definitely, that person was marked from Truman's Jewelry.
From the spray.
From the spray. Yeah. And we test that with the ultraviolet light, identify the date, time, and the exact location that that suspect came from. it would be up to that agency, like Albany Police Department in this case. They would process that DNA marker, and then they would send it to a lab following their evidentiary procedures and get the results back. It's a tool. It's just one more tool in the toolbox.
So Joe, how would you know that that guy didn't accidentally get sprayed wherever he was, somewhere else maybe? How would you know you can link him to the jewelry store?
Correct. That is a remote possibility. As we handle around the world thousands of these cases a year, we're able to discern in conjunction with video camera evidence, first-hand account evidence. As Deputy Chief Borman mentioned, this will be a part of the investigation. It will not be the sole investigation. It's an investigatory breadcrumb that's going to lead them to the correct individual. And the other thing that's important to mention is that this technology can also help exonerate someone falsely accused of being at a crime scene. Because every unit we create that's in the lab has a unique forensic sequence. It's never replicated ever in the history of the world. So Truman's Jewelers has a canister that's only specifically and exclusively to them. It ties them to the crime.
And that's where it's similar to DNA that
Correct.
we all have anyway. I see.
So it helps as a deterrent. The arrest, though, sounds like is made in various old-fashioned ways, the same way arrests have always been made, but then it also becomes a tool to help get a conviction. Are state DAs on board with this?
We're currently working with them and educating them, just as we are in Florida, the state attorney's office, and in California. Right now, they're right in the middle of the bail reform issue. Right. But we have a very thorough and comprehensive Fourth Amendment document we've been sharing with them. And the next phase with the Sheriff's Association is going in more detail with them, sharing them information, because the process with the Daubert standard, which provides for how do you admit new technology into a court of law for criminal proceedings, we're very, very highly confident it will be accepted, just like other technologies throughout the history.
So, Chief Deputy, this is new to New York. How is the Sheriff's Association working to try to get this into police departments around the state? And what do you anticipate the first time this comes up and somebody presents it in court and a defense attorney says, oh, wait a minute, we can't have this?
Sure. Well, the New York State Sheriff's Association is very excited about this technology. Next week here in Albany, the State Sheriff's Association has their convention and their training. So they're rolling this out to all the sheriffs across New York State. Preliminary, it's already been discussed, and they're pretty excited about it. Again, as far as the second part of your question, you know, we're doing our homework now. We're making preparation that certainly this will be questioned in a court of law. So we want to get ahead of that.
Real quickly, who pays for it? Do the businesses have to buy in? How does this get paid for?
It's just like a security camera or any other type of devices, access control.
But the business would pay for it.
And then we notify the law enforcement, and we also have a global security asset registry that the Albany County Sheriff's Office or Albany Police Department, their certified agencies, can access it to match the codes up. Because this can also be used to recover lost or stolen property.
Will the police departments have to pay for their reading device, or is that something provided?
Well, most agencies have their own already. And if they don't, we work with them very closely for funding, and that has not been an issue anywhere in the United States.
Well, this is certainly fascinating, and I wish we could spend more time on it, but we're about out of time. I do know, though, if I ran a business and I had a sign up that said we had this detection device in there, I'd feel a lot better about knowing that I probably wouldn't be robbed.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely fascinating. New technologies working all the time, isn't it? You see it all the time on television. Well, listen, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us in Empire State Weekly, and best of luck with this new technology.
Thank you both.